very successful restaurateur, worked really hard all of his life, so he finally has his successful restaurant. He has a big family, and his youngest daughter, she's going through her teens, so the terrible teens. We all know that everything to this little girl sucks. Everything is a problem. Everything is against her. Life is so hard. We've all been there. We all have. I don't care who you are. Life has been hard on you at a point. Sometimes you wouldn't acknowledge it. But this is all day, every single day. So the guy is getting a little bit frustrated with his daughter as it happens. And, she says something sucks, and that's just the straw that breaks the camel's back. And he's like, all right, put your coat on. We're going. And she's just confused. She's like, where are we going? He's like, doesn't matter. Just come on. They get in the car, and they go to the restaurant. And it's really, really, they're closed already, turns on the lights, they go back to the kitchen. And without saying anything, she's just like standing there, she's like, okay, whatever. So the dad, he starts 3 pots of water, turns them all on the stove. And he pulls out a potato, pulls out an egg, pulls out a big thing of coffee. And he's like, all right, cool. I want you to look at all this stuff. And she starts looking and he's like, go ahead, pick it up. She grabs a potato and he's like, what do you think about it? She's like, yeah, it's a potato. I know what a potato is, Dad. I've grown up all my life. You're always into food. Why is everything got to be about food? He's like, squeeze it. What do you think? She's like, yeah, it's hard. It's a raw potato. I get that. And he's like, okay, cool. Put it down. Go to the next one. She picks up the egg and she's like, yeah, Dad, this is an egg. I've known what this is since I was like 4 years old. He's like, what would happen if you dropped it? She's like, it would break. It's fragile, it's an egg. And he's like, okay, cool, put it down. Pick up the coffee. She picks up the coffee. He's like, what do you think about it? She smiles and a little tiny bit of a smile curls over her face, but then she remembers that, hey, I'm mad. So wipes it off immediately. So he's like, what about this? And he's like, yeah, Dad, this is coffee grinds. I'm old enough to drink coffee now, so I like coffee. And he's like, cool, put it down. So she puts everything down. At the same time, he puts the potato, the egg, put some coffee into the boiling water, 3 separate pots. And he's sitting there telling her, I'm here to teach you a lesson about life. In all honesty, think about the boiling water as life and what we all go through. And, at the end of it, we all go through the same things, but we're going to be different people at the end. And it's your choice on who you want to be. So about 5 minutes goes by, and he turns off the pots, pulls everything out, and pours a cup of coffee. And he's like, okay, inspect it. She looks at the potato, he's like, here's a fork. She pokes at the potato, kind of smashes it a little bit, and he's like, what happened? She's like, you baked it. It's soft, so it's fragile now. He's like, okay, cool. And look at the egg. She's like, yeah, no, I know what a boiled egg is. I know exactly what it is. It's a hard-boiled egg, Dad. He's like, okay, so what would happen if you dropped it? She's like, it would bounce. The shell would crack, but it would bounce. It wouldn't shatter everywhere. And he's like, okay, cool. Now, take a look at this. Hands her a cup of coffee and she smells it, little smile curls over again, and then wiped away. Now she's just confused. She's like, Dad, why are we here? Why is everything gotta be about food? I don't get it. I gotta get to school in the morning. I'm tired. And he's like, hold on a second. Let me tell you exactly why I brought you here. Because you remember I said that the boiling water is what we all go through in life. And she's like, yeah. He's like, so each one of these things, they had a different quality before they went through the water. And then you even acknowledged it that they're all different. So the potato, you said, it was hard, it was unbreakable originally. It was really tough before it went through the water that, in this metaphor, it's life struggles. It got softened. It got weak. If you dropped it, it would be done. It would lose its entire shape and it would be useless. And she's like, oh, okay. And the hard-boiled egg, you even said if I drop it, it's going to shatter before it went through life struggles. But it went through life struggles and it became hard and resilient and it could bounce back from a lot of things, a lot more than it could before. And then you had the coffee. This is something that, the first person that made coffee, they were probably blown away. They did not know what was going on, but they liked it. She's like, yeah, you can't do anything with coffee grounds until you put it in water. And he's like, exactly. So there are certain people in this world that when they get put in life struggles, they don't, break. They don't, necessarily become hard, but they come up with something entirely new that nobody would have ever even thought of being possible. those are the innovators. Those are the people that they create something entirely new and change the world. So where I'm going with this is, no matter how you go through life, we're all going through struggles. I guarantee you, not one person in this room doesn't have something that they're going through at this very moment. But how we choose, how we react to it, how we respond to it, who we become afterwards, that is 100% our choice. Are you going to be the potato that's hard up front, but after, a week in the stores and, getting no's, or are you going to become soft and break because your ego won't allow you to take a loss? Are you going to become like the egg? You're so nervous at first, but you go out there and you see what you're capable of and you get excited by it, and you start to realize that you became hard, you became resilient, you can bounce back from whatever life hits you with. Or are you going to be like the coffee? It's like no one really expects it, but you got something cooking up that nobody's ever going to know what's going to happen until it pops off. This is one of those things that, like, successful people, when you talk about them, you talk about their struggles. You talk about what happened before they became super, super successful. The innovators in the world, they always start out crazy. Everything is impossible until it's done. So at the end of the day, whenever we're all in the boiling water, when we're all going through life's struggles, it's your choice who you want to be. Do you want to be the potato? Do you want to be the egg? Or do you want to be the coffee? And that's my impact, y'all.